Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, red or green? Okay.
The Robo Rebel.
The robot rebel. Rebel conversations.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2.
Rebel conversation. Rebel conversation. Rebel conversation. Rebel conversation. The truth is, I just like to talk.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
Hey.
Sunshine, she's here.
This is like the perfect song. The perfect song for my guests on Rebel Conversations. It's your girl, Antrez Finney. I'm your host, creator of the Robot Rebel. So happy, no pun intended, so happy to have my guest with me. I met this beautiful soul at Work, Pray, Slay, which is founded by Coriel Dubose. You guys can find her on Instagram as well, at Coriel, or at Work, Pray, Slay as well. But I met her. She was a speaker, one of the speakers for the 3-day conference. And honey, she walked in, she owned the room. I mean, just so your name is everything. And we'll get into that in about 2 seconds. But your name spoke volumes of your character, your nature, and just how authentic you are to the name. Can you please tell the audience your name?
My name is Precious Kofi Williams.
Get into it.
Yes, my name
Precious Kofi Williams.
Yes. Kofi is my maiden name. I'm from Ghana, West Africa.
Nice.
A very proud first-generation American.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
That's
So
me.
glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So today is going to be all about Miss Precious and her brand, who she is as a public figure and a Howard University alumni. Get into it.
Yes.
Also received her master's from Georgia State University as well. So I want to get into who you are, what your brand is all about. But first, can you tell our audience where we can even find you?
Awesome. So yes, I'm Precious, and I can be found on all social media networks, but the main place you can find me is my website, www.SimplyPassionateLife.com. Simply Passionate Life is my handle on all social media networks, except for Twitter, where I'm Simply Presh KW, because Twitter has to be extra.
They extra.
But yeah, that's where you can find me on YouTube as well. Where if you want the more meat of my content, is where you'll find it on my website and on YouTube.
So before we dive in, I just want to tell you this. If you are looking for inspiration, if you're looking for something fresh, something new, something to kind of jolt your energy or jolt your pathing in life, you definitely want to check out Precious. She is probably one of the most positive, inspirational influencers that I've seen go through my Instagram feed. And as you guys know, I'm mainly on Instagram, and YouTube is where you find the show. So Precious, tell me about, you said first generation. Tell me about you first before we even dive into the Simply Passionate brand.
Well, a lot of who I am is poured into Simply Passionate Life, but I am just a real goofy person. I'm a lover of life. I call myself a joy influencer. I just love to influence other people to live their best life. And by best life doesn't mean the happiest life, the most prosperous life, the most financially wealthy life. It's more so about realizing that every moment is a message. And you just have to pay attention. So for me, I'm a daughter of 2 beautiful Ghanaian immigrants. I'm a sister. It's 5 of us. I'm a mother of 2. I'm a wife of 1, and he's the husband of 1. Amen. I'm in ministry. Yes, amen. I'm in ministry at my church in Atlanta, Old Fourth Ward. I'm a counselor, so I love working with students and families and helping them. I'm an inspiring author, have a few book titles, and y'all just pray my strength that some of those come on out this year.
Yes, they will.
Amen.
It's already done.
Yes, so I have to put in the work and get that done. But I'm just really a goofy person, and I find negativity really grieving. I don't like negativity, and it's hard for me to see negativity in my own life, in the lives of those I love, and the lives of even strangers. So that's really what drives me, is to try to bring joy back.
So where did this come from? This ultimate passion or interest to inspire people through positivity and through joy? Where did this come from? There's always a root.
There is a root. So there's like a lot of roots. There's the root just in myself living in a household where we were upper middle class, very, small neighborhood. Everyone knew everyone, went to school K through 12 with people. It was that small neighborhood, and you just kind of enjoy what you appreciated what you had.
And that neighborhood is Atlanta? Or
No, I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago.
What?
Yeah.
Chi-town.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to tell me about that. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I had a household that was just like, we just appreciated what we had. It was 5 of us. We knew our parents worked hard. They both didn't have like just fancy jobs. My mom was a beautician. My dad was a delivery man. But we enjoyed our life, and we enjoyed what we had. So that's kind of the root. Just watching them and going to Ghana every 2 years and seeing like, just being grateful for what you have. You know what I'm saying? So I never, even though I grew up in the suburbs, I never really had the suburban girl, spoiled persona.
Yeah.
No offense to my fellow suburban girls.
Yeah.
But the moment that really changed me as an adult recently, and what spawned Simply Passionate Life, was the election. In 2016, has it been 2 years already? Almost. Yeah. In 2016, it was election week. I had been sitting on the idea for a few months, since like August, and I had the idea, and I was working through names, and we came up with the name. I found the Instagram. I saved my little Instagram, because you got to save your Instagram. And it was 3 days after the election. It was Friday morning, and between Tuesday and Friday, all the negativity that I saw on my timeline was like, y'all, we are going to make it. 4 years later, 8 years later, we will still be here. Like, our people are never, ever,
resilient.
broken down.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, listen, if this man can go from running a reality TV show and a business and become the president of the United States, I need to I have a master's in counseling. Okay. I know what it means to encourage people. Like, I was born to encourage people. So it's time to stop making excuses and get to work. So
wow. And so when did you move to Atlanta? Was this post Howard? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I moved to Howard in 2007 after I graduated from Howard. I'm a little young, but I'm also a little old for some of the younger millennials.
Age is not a factor here.
Right. So yes, I'm like in that little millennial Generation X line. But yeah, I went to Howard, graduated 2007, and I did Teach for America.
Oh.
And so that moved me to Atlanta.
Okay.
And I never even visited the South before that.
What is your first impression about the South?
It was slow. I remember going to Kroger and being like, literally, ma'am, like, come on, please. I just want my groceries. And that was tough for me.
Yeah.
I was struggling. Yeah. And that's one of my first impressions. But I also liked the fact that my friendliness wasn't weird, because people were friendly. They were like, you're not from here, but you're friendly like you're from here. And you talk really fast.
I thought you were from Atlanta.
Really?
I had no idea you were from Chi-Town. Like,
and that's a compliment. That's a compliment. I love Atlanta.
You fit right in. Atlanta Peach.
Yes, I love Atlanta. Now, I do have a little bit of sass, and that comes from Chicago. I talk fast, so I guess I'm a fast-talking northerner. English is my second language, so I blame that for why I talk fast. But that's just who I am. I've come to accept it and work on slowing down just a little bit for people.
So Simply Passionate brand was birthed through the Trump administration taking office, and you had this idea and you sat on it. Then the negativity came, and it was like, oh my God, it's like doomsday fear, the black hole. Everybody kind of like fell in that trap.
Right.
So now you're here. It's 2018. What has been the proudest moment since going forth with your idea? So going from an idea to where you are right now.
Wow.
And I know it's probably a lot.
That is a lot, yeah. My proudest moment, man. I would say, I don't even know. It's a lot of them. I mean, let me just recount a few. I guess one of my biggest things I asked a member of my church, I know she was having a conference. I asked her, does she need speakers? And she said, yeah. And so the first speaking engagement I had was to a group of middle-aged white women, like 50s, that's maybe not even middle-aged, later stage white women. And it was interesting because, like I said, what kind of pushed me off the ledge was completely, a very controversial topic. And so we talked about health and wellness. I talked about my own wellness journey and how I lost 75 pounds before I got married. Yeah, we talked about all of that. And so that was a proud moment because it helped me realize that Simply Passionate Life is a brand that can cross
Oh yeah.
all paths, and it's not just for young Black girls who want to be girl bosses.
Right.
It's for
Right.
everybody.
Right.
So that was a proud moment. Speaking of Workplace Lay was also a proud moment. I've been following the then Single Wives Club for a while, and so that was a proud moment. A lot of things coming up have been proud moments that can't quite talk about all the things that's coming up right now. Some conferences and some people that I really admire in Atlanta that I'm getting to partner with. So I just been grateful because the 3 aims of Simply Passionate Life are faith, family, and fitness. And so I would say the ultimate proud moment is just my 10-year-old, her excitement, her thinking this is our brand, this is our YouTube channel.
Oh, this is our brand.
Yeah, like she's so excited and she's so proud of me, and she's like, have fun at your interview. Like she's really proud. And so that's kind of helping me on days where you don't necessarily see the outward benefits of what you're doing, but you know that, one young lady is going to get to see an inside scoop of what a woman on the mission looks like. So.
I think being an example for your children is everything. I didn't have that as a little girl. My mom is not a communicative person, and my dad left the home when I was 7. So I think that is just looking at you and seeing how you set the bar for living your best life. I know that's become like the phrase of the Instagram land, but I'm inspired. I'm inspired, and in everything you're not going to always see. You even have on your website Tangible. Simply started from a deep desire to see more people enjoy life rather than focusing on tangible landmarks. Talk about tangible landmarks.
And that's what I think is so funny. I kind of regret even using the best life quote, but I think a lot of times we just are really focused on like, where am I going? Where am I getting a specific place, a specific milestone in life? And there's so many precious moments that you just forget. You don't even notice because you're so focused on this end goal, this end, destination. And then when you have that spirit of, discontentment and just running that rat race, you never are satisfied. You get there and it's what's next? You get there and it's what's next after that. And you get there and it's what's next after that. So I believe that you can enjoy the life you're living while you work for the life you want.
What's driving that? What is driving folks going after the carrot, the dangling carrot, and living for the future and not being present? What's driving that?
I mean, there are a lot of things. I mean, I don't think there's nothing new under the sun. So I think this has been going on since before social media, before the information age. I think that has a lot to do with it for us because we see people where they are, not knowing where they came from. And so you see someone that we both know, like as an amazing Coriel, and think, oh, she started from here. But you don't know that she started from point A, wherever. Yeah. Or you're looking at your life, you're like, oh, someone else has 4 kids. How can they do this? Well, you don't know if they have grandmas that live nearby, or they have a big
godparents.
Or godparents, right? Like you're a transport to Atlanta, but they're from Atlanta. So it's like you have to just think about stop looking at people and comparing yourself. I think that's a big thing, comparison. And I also think just contentment in knowing who you are, your identity. I'm a very firm, follower of Christ. I love the Lord, and I have to remind myself every day through my meditations that like I am loved by you. I am affirmed by you, not by what accolade I get, by what magazine I'm featured in, by what stage I speak on. Like I'm affirmed by you, and until you get that sense of like true passion, you're always going to be looking for it. And my pastor always says, like, we have a God-sized hole in our heart, and we're trying to fill it with other things.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
We have a God-sized hole in our hearts, and we're trying to fill it with everything and everything.
And it's not going to be successful.
Wow.
And so whenever I find myself doing that, I have to take a step back because I'm like, look,
well, let's hold on. Let's back it up.
Yeah.
When do you find yourself trying to fill whatever hole, whatever you want to call it? What are those moments?
A lot of times just busyness in general. I've seen a lot of staying busy, or feeling like if I'm not being busy, if I'm not my day is not full from top A to B, then I'm not doing something well. A lot of times I fill that hole with self-sufficiency. Like if I'm doing well, I got myself together, then I feel affirmed, I feel strong, I feel powerful. I know you have those moments too, but that only lasts for a while and you get burnt out. And so that's when I noticed that. And I noticed that like, you're doing a lot, but you're not stopping to be and to be still and to enjoy. And that's when I usually take a step back. That's when I usually say, okay, Like, Lord, where am I going wrong? What are my motivations? Another person I respect says, you don't always have to ask forgiveness for what you do wrong, but for the reasons why you do the right things. And a lot of times when we talk about simply passionate living, it's not that you're doing bad things, you're doing good things, but what is your motivation for doing them?
What's the intention?
What's
I
the
always say
intention?
that. I like how you have a built-in self-check. It seems like you have a conversation with self a lot. You have a conversation with God. You have a conversation with Jesus saying, hey, I know you love me. I know you got me, things of that nature. And it also sounds like you do a lot of, why am I doing this?
Yes.
What am I doing this for? So
Yes.
where does that come from, this self-check thing?
Maybe because I'm a counselor. I believe reflection is huge. It's very, it's huge. Reflection is a big part of living passionately, because you can end up getting to a place where you're doing things that you're no longer even interested in anymore, but you're just going on autopilot. And I don't robot. Yeah. And we're rebelling against that. Right. And so, I found that I just have to do that. And I guess because I have my daughters too, I just, if ever I feel like sometimes we do Tween and Toddler Tuesdays on Instagram. So every Tuesday I kind of show you the day in the life behind being a mom and trying to run a brand, trying to be a loving wife, not just a wife, but a loving and happy wife. So I do the behind the scenes of that. And every once in a while I'm like, canceled. It's canceled today.
Wait a minute.
It's
Why?
canceled. Because if I'm like, hey everybody, hello, Simply Passionate Life, this is my family, and then I get off and like, go sit down somewhere. Like, that's fake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if I don't feel secure enough in myself that day for y'all to see the go sit down somewhere, then I don't do it.
Right.
Because I don't want ever someone to say, you made it look easy, or I intentionally made it look easier than it really was.
Wow.
Now, some days I'm secure, and I'm like fussing at the girl about socks. Let the socks go, precious. It's not that deep. But I was secure enough in myself that I knew I was tripping. Y'all go see me tripping, and then you're going to see us have grace and me apologize or us move on,
Wow.
But if I'm not secure enough for any commentary or any DMs, then I'm just like, it's canceled today.
It's over.
It's over today, you know?
Yeah.
And my daughter knows, if it's canceled, it's on.
Wow.
Because that means we got to all do some self-checks.
Yeah. Something is upside down.
Yeah, something's upside down, and the world does not need to see it right now.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that living your best life isn't always about the positive moments, but kind of like celebrating those moments. So what are those moments that you should celebrate?
Right. Honestly, I believe, like I said, every moment is a message. Every moment, even the really tough ones. Like, there are things that happen in life, and it used to seem cliche to me until I started doing it more.
Okay.
Because I do it a lot. Like, something is happening. Let's see, yesterday I had like a crazy day. 2 days ago, my child missed the bus, and then I was like, the other child didn't want to wake up. It was just crazy. And I now ask myself, what am I learning in this moment? I ask myself that.
That's hard.
It is hard, but I have to do it because I'm a franticer. If you even noticed, I can get real frantic and real, oh my God, the world is ending.
Really?
I can. As my natural self, and thankfully to the Holy Spirit, I'm able to now stop myself and say, what am I learning in this moment? Now, I don't always get it right then, but usually because I'm asking myself that, I'm able to say, okay, you know what? This is what you're learning in this moment. You're learning to slow down. Oh, did you meditate this morning? Did you even open the Bible app, or did you just like swipe past that notification and keep it moving? Or did you just look at this verse of the day, screenshot it, and keep it moving? Like those types of things are not, intentional acts towards, being whole. So I have to ask myself a lot, those things. So I feel like really, if you have all the material things that you've ever wanted, but you're not able to like see what you're learning on a daily basis, how you're growing on a daily basis, you're missing something.
Wow. What grounds you? How do you stay grounded?
I live a pretty humble life, so I'm already grounded. But I think what really grounds me, it's just that we live 80 years max. 80, average person lives 75, 80 years on this earth. Maybe you get the 100, but I know like there's more to life than this. And that's what grounds me. Like, I believe like I live for the future generations. I'm the result of my grandma's prayers. Like, there are things that my children are going to do after me. There's eternity that people who want to be moguls and women who want to be girl bosses, but they don't know who they are. They don't know where their soul is. Like, that grounds me, because I'm like, you know what? they can like me a whole lot. They can think I'm funny, but if their soul is not fed in any way, what's the point? And that's just me. That's not necessarily for everybody, but those are the kind of questions I have to ask myself.
Wow. Do you have any tools or resources that will help someone become more reflective of their life, become more invested or curious about their own internal map and journey? Do you have anything?
Well, yeah. Well, I have a 31-day challenge that I do 4 times a year. And in that challenge is a mind, body, spirit. So it comes with a workbook. It comes with a workbook, and they have a devotional each day, a smoothie recipe and workout for each day, and then a meditation. I'm also going to start giving away the meditation portion. It's like a freebie for my audience or anyone who comes to my website that just has the 4 open-ended questions, that you can write in every day or do verbally or just do in the shower in the morning.
Is one of those questions, who are you?
I am.
Yeah.
The first question is I am. And then it's
Wow.
I have, I need, and I will.
Wow.
So instead of starting in the morning with I need to do this, I need to do that, I need, it's more so starting with who are you? Who am I?
So before we wrap today, we're going to do the I am exercise.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So
Let's
I'll
do
do
it
it to you and then you'll do it to me.
Absolutely.
I am. And whatever comes to our mind, maybe 3 words.
Yeah.
3 words that describe who we are.
Absolutely.
So what are people afraid of, Precious? What are we afraid of? What are we so apprehensive and reluctant about when it comes to living the best life?
I think a lot of people are afraid of success.
Can we just sit there for a minute?
We can sit there.
I'm going to tell you why I think people are afraid of success. If you don't know what it looks like and you haven't been exposed to it, you haven't experienced it, it takes you out of control. It takes you in this place of, just an unfamiliar territory. And that just freaks people out because it's a lack of control. You lose control when you have success because things happen like a tidal wave, a tsunami. If you're really in alignment and if you're really in purpose, things just, whoa, you just winning all over the place, right? So I can understand how Cardi B, and I'm using her as an example because that was a tsunami. She has been grinding and working long before we saw her blow up, but it's overwhelming.
Right.
So we're afraid of success.
Right. I definitely think we're afraid of success, more so because we're afraid that we will not be able to maintain the success or outdo our success. So last year was crazy. I was in 2 magazines and I was speaking in front of hundreds of people, headshots, my website went up, all these amazing things happened. And I was like, ooh, what is 2018 going to be like? Am I going to be a flop? Is this a one-hit wonder? And then I had to realize you don't do any things in your life anyway. God is not, this is for him and to get glory. If you think he's a flop, you wrong. And so it's he's not going to flop. So
exactly.
It's
and most people, and this is a generality, but most people don't think that way. Unless it's the NBA, NFL, big time stuff. People, say, oh, they just had a good year. The Hawks just had a good year. The Falcons just had a good year. But when it comes to being relative and being personable and being who God intended us to be, most people think no. She's doing great things. So I think you just kind of keep going. You just keep going, and like you said, God sustains you. So what else are we afraid of?
So of course you're afraid of success, afraid of not being able to maintain success, and then of course the fear of failure.
What is failure?
To I believe you either live or you live, learn, or grow. But people feel and this goes into the fear of people. So that's probably the bigger fear, the fear of failure falls under, but the fear of the thoughts of other people, the perceptions of other people, the input of other people. And if you're not accepted by somebody that you may value, then that's a failure to you. Or if you don't reach a goal that you think someone else expected you to reach, that's a failure. And so I won't say that I've never felt like I failed, but I feel like I failed less since I started this brand and since I started really putting my thoughts to paper and putting my thoughts to video content and really holding myself accountable to what my core beliefs are. Because we all have core beliefs, but a lot of times we have them and we don't really write them down and live by them. And so since I've written my thoughts down and attempt to be an honest person and be a person of integrity and live by them, I've seen a huge difference.
Upsurge.
Of just me saying, you know what? this day was not my day.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But I learned from it. So it was a win.
Who influences you? What celebrity?
Ooh,
I want to go with a celebrity.
a celebrity that
What celebrity
influences
influences
me.
Precious Williams?
Ooh, I'm not really big on celebrities. I mean, I am, but let's see. I have a lot of regular people that influence me, honestly, but let me think. Of course, I mean, one of the biggest influences I have, and she's no longer with us, is Maya Angelou. I feel like she is my spirit. Like, she speaks everything in my heart. Like, every time I read something of hers, I'm like, I wrote that in my heart. Like, that was something that like, there's no other writer that depicts how I feel like she does. So
What do you think she stood for?
she stood for just being unapologetic and just being bold and loving and treating people like jewels, like really treating people well, and really treating yourself well, forgiving yourself, and don't apologize. Like,
That's right.
I used to apologize for being a fast talker, or for being boisterous, or for being the last to leave a party. You know, like, now I'm like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to be happy to be here. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. I'm going to trip because I'm, like, those sorts of things are just me.
You're
and
human.
I'm not apologetic about it anymore.
So, what makes people, in your opinion, Kanye West tweeted that people
He's been tweeting a lot lately.
Yeah, he's getting ready to drop a 7-song album sometime this summer. But he tweeted, we either pull from love or fear. How can you tell when you are moving based out of fear?
I think fear is more outward and love is inward. So if you're asking yourself, if your motivations have to do with other people, other things, appearances, and outside things that you can't control, that's usually fear-based. But I feel like love is an internal thing. It drives from, like, am I going to be happy? Is God going to be happy? Am I going to feel good about myself? Like, is this going to impact my internal relationships?
Is this going to serve?
It's going to serve, right? So it's more from a deeper level. I think love is when like, okay, this comes from a place of, intrinsic motivation and not extrinsic. And even, fear-based could even be positive things. Like, I don't want to let my girls down. That's still fear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, how will this motivate them? How will this encourage them? Like, those types of things, that's more love-based. So.
Wow.
And then, encourage and motivate, you can't see that. You can't always see when you motivate and encourage someone. Like, that, they may not even know they're encouraged or motivated for years to come.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much my mom meant to me as a teenager until I was grown. And she didn't know how much I meant to her, how much she meant to me by my actions when I was a teenager. So, like, a place of love is like, I want to sow a seed in this person. I want to sow a seed in this place, whether or not I can see it or not. Opposed to fear comes to, like, will I be recognized for it? Will I not be recognized for it? Will I be taken for granted? Those are external things that you can't control. So why try to live your life that way?
I found that operating from a place of love is so easy and peaceful. It doesn't keep you up at night. Fear is always thinking about the next thing and just kind of like the outward things that you can do, but just moving from a place of everything is going to work out, smiling when things are not Gucci.
Right.
Okay?
It's easy
through.
once you get into it. But I think it's hard for people to let go of that control, because a lot of people are afraid to be taken advantage of, or to love, or to live freely, because they don't know if that's going to be, taken for granted or taken advantage of. But you just have to realize you're not going to always see the benefits of what you do, not here and not in front of. I mean, you may move on. You may move on to a whole new thing in life.
Oh yeah, because we stay evolving.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
You said you stopped apologizing about who you are. What does apologize? Let me know what that sounds like. What does apologizing for who you are, how you sound, how you talk? What does that really look like?
one, verbally, a whole bunch of disclaimers. Oh yeah, even now with me talking fast, I'm about to stop telling people why I talk fast. Okay. It helps because as a speaker, it helps people relate to me. Oh, she didn't always speak, or she, so that's why I do it more before now to relate to my audience, but in the past it was like, I know I talk fast, I'm sorry. Like just crouching down for other people's.
Ooh, crouching.
Just bringing yourself
Crouching
down, for someone else. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we'll have a whole biblical and religious talk about it, but like Jesus is my homeboy, and he didn't crouch down. He was very humble as humble can be, but he would not answer someone or answer in a parable before he downplayed himself. Are you the son of God? He would respond in a parable before he said no. And so at the end of the day, like, we have to be the same way, like, in humility. Like, you walk in humility. I don't need to pronounce to everyone, yes, I'm the most beautiful melanated African queen. No, but I don't have to be like, oh yeah, just love me. Oh, no, no, I can just walk and love people and treat people well, and be proud of who God made me to be, without having to announce that or having to denounce it.
Can a person be too humble?
I wouldn't call it humble, because one thing is, I've learned that pride has two forms. There's self-exalting pride, and then there's self-pity. And so when you pity yourself or you bring yourself so low, you still seeking attention. You still want someone else to tell you. So it's like, oh, I'm just so fat, and I'm just so not. And that's not really humble. And and you still want the attention. It's still all about you. It's still wanting self-pity from that person or that, So there's humble, and then after a certain level, it goes to self-pity. And I believe there's a lot of pride in there too.
That's a lot of crouching.
Too much crouching.
We're in the self-pity. We hear all the time, be confident. You should be confident. You should believe in yourself. You should stand tall. You should know that you can conquer anything you put your mind to.
Right.
What I've found is, and you may be able to relate to this, what I'm finding is there are some spaces that I walk in and I'm just Antrez.
Right.
Very confident, very secure in my skin. And that turns people off. Have you ever experienced being too confident or and that too sounds negative. I don't mean it in that space. Right. But have you ever found that your presence intimidates other people? And if so, what have you done to kind of like, I'm not going to say get on their level, but what do you do? What is your auto setting when that happens? Right.
It's funny.
You know what's funny? What's funny?
I don't know. I think that my personality and my goofiness sometimes is not say intimidating, but like my level of freedom about just saying whatever and being goofy and like just being like, ooh, I'm hot. Like, just being extra can kind of be intimidating for people who may not be as comfortable with themselves. But I am a kind of person where I will be free in my goofiness, but also highlight my strengths and my weaknesses. Like, I embrace my weaknesses. I embrace my goofiness, my clumsiness. I don't lean to my weaknesses, but I just embrace them, and I hope that helps people feel more comfortable in themselves. But then there's been places where they just don't like me, and that's
so. What
okay.
do you? Okay, and that's the question that I have, because don't like me. I don't. That sounds. We don't really necessarily know that, but it has a vibe, right? Right. So, what do?
You're just not for everybody.
But what is the behavior? What is the response?
I don't change, since.
Okay.
I mean,
you don't turn down, or you don't do, okay.
Because in those cases, like if I feel like the person is trying to receive me and I'm like a lot, then I have to use discernment and say, okay, maybe I need to listen more. I need to hear where they're coming from. I need to ask them probing questions, because they might be an introvert. They might not be extra like that, like me, and I need to hear where they're coming from. So that's the humility part of it. But when I'm with somebody who's just as loud and extra as me, but they're not feeling me, they're not interested, they're like turning away my efforts to be kind and nice and genuine with them.
And it's okay.
And then those cases, I'm like,
it's okay.
Yeah. And I mean, there are, especially in this brand development stage that I'm in, and then, going from moving to Atlanta, being very in the scene, and then going to like the family life scene, and now back in the whole networking scene, I've had to learn where, you know what, I pick my people pick me, and if you're not my people, I'm going to intentionally, no matter how grave an opportunity it is, I'm choosing to abstain from that.
That's what I'm saying. You have to get to a place, and this is for, the tribe, okay? In some spaces, the energy and the vibe of the Precious brand, the Antrez brand, whatever, it inspires people, and it makes people want to be confident, and makes them want to show up. And that's the part that just keeps me going, because it's like, I think Marion, I never say her name right, Marion Williamson. Return to Love, the part of her writing where she says, we show up in love or something like that, so others can have, giving others a permission to be confident in love. And I'm totally jacking the whole thing up. But that's the beautiful part of it. When you're in alignment, when you're secure with who you are, you can make those moves of, you know what, that's not a good opportunity for me. Or, you know what, I'm actually going to pass on that. See, it's that intentional mindset and that intentional living that really gives you so much security and grounding. And I want to say courage.
Yeah, especially because sometimes it's just not, when you talk about confidence, or what I love, the new coin of confidence, like really being confident in who God has made me to be. When I find that I'm exerting a lot of energy into someone or into a brand or into a collaboration that just don't want to be, I have to push back, because that's forced, and it's also not good for my confidence. It's not good for, I'm like, how much you gonna get beat down, girl? It's not working, because the timing may be right later. It's just not right now, and you can cause offense to yourself by pushing a relationship that's not meant to be, when the person really didn't intend that. They may have been just trying to be subtle with their disinterest, and now you pushing it, and now they're going to be offensive. Like, listen, and now you're offended. So it's like, I try to get out of the situation before that happens. If I feel like this is our second attempt at a partnership is not working, or this is my second interaction or third interaction with you, and it's just not vibing, I'll separate myself in the light way. I'm not really a big cutoff person, just lightly separate myself just until the time is right, and just love you from a distance.
Yeah, so we have to operate from a place of flow and not force.
Right.
That brilliant. I think you hit something when you said we often are in situations that we try to hound or kind of like, make it happen, right? I don't know that women think of other areas in their life outside of a romantic relationship. So outside of who you're dating, who you're married to, who you're seeing, I don't think we realize that our behaviors also show up in business opportunities, friendships, whatever. So that whole force thing, if you force your romantic situations, 9 times out of 10, there's something else that you're trying to make work. So how does trying to make things work, situations, scenarios, opportunities, how does that impact, you say confidence, right? How does that impact, what is the consequence? What's the counter action to forcing something?
So what's the consequence?
What does that look like?
I mean, like I said, first of all, it's self-defeating. It's not benefiting you and your, confidence in who you are. If because one, that's what it does first. It impacts you, self-defeating. 2, it really makes you unavailable for the people who are for you. So it's like, sometimes I've had really great experiences with people. Like I have a spreadsheet for my speaking. And I write down the name of the company, the email, the time, the date that I emailed them about speaking, and then the response. And in the response category, I either write, secured and, an engagement, or awaiting more feedback, or not my opportunity. Instead of saying I got turned down, or they said no, I just put not my opportunity, because it's like, that's just not my opportunity right now, and that's for somebody else, and I'm gonna let that person go and kill it, and I'm gonna show up for the people who really
Who
want
are
me,
for
who
you.
are for me and who really want me right now. But when we're so focused on making it work with somebody else or staying in places too long, then you're not available for the people who really could use you and really could, benefit and also
needs
pour
to hear
into
the
you
message.
and who also could pour back into you as well. So I've just learned that, it's so much that can go, it's so many ways we can go in there, so many ways. I'm going to keep it at those two things. So you don't, you're self-defeating and you are not available for those who need you.
There's over 7 billion plus people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not gonna fit every freaking scenario, and everybody's not going to understand the message. And that's what I think. When sometimes people are like, well, what's Simply Passionate Life or what's the Robot Rebel? It's a great opportunity to expound upon it and, invite them into your world. But there are just some things that people aren't going to get,
Right.
and I'm okay with that.
Right.
And I think you are okay with that and sharing that type of knowledge or wisdom with your tribe is everything. Because I think what I like about your brand, from what I can understand, is we don't just focus on the joy of life. We focus on how to sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
So sustaining the joy in your life, because every day ain't sunny. As you say, Tuesdays it's canceled.
Right.
So I think it's a balance. It's there's something for everybody, and it's definitely a balance of what is joy. How do you define that for your life? Take the 31-day challenge. Find out more about yourself. Do these activities, fitness, faith, and family.
Right.
Like all of that stuff is like, to me, it's like hitting all areas of life.
Right.
And I think that's important because sometimes things can be just kind of one directional, one dimensional. And that's not a judge. That's just what it is.
Right.
I think how you do it at a 360 is amazing because even though I'm not a parent, but I am my own family.
Right. Absolutely.
And whatever I cultivate as a single woman, I'll cultivate that in my family. So it's still very important.
Someone
Wow. Wow.
Yes. That is so true. Your family to your friends, your family to your family that you grew up in, your cousins, your extended family. But yeah, it's something that it is a lot to balance, and I have to stay focused on, who is my girl, what is she going through, and helping her get through it. I'm really transparent in that all this business stuff is I'm a therapist. I'm a health, I was a health science major, then I was a counseling major. Like the people, I got that. The business and all that, and who is your audience? I just like stalk Maya Elias so I can figure out all of that. But I'm learning that part, and so I'm really open to evolve, to change. But faith, family, and fitness, yeah, that's really where the things that have changed me once I started seeing myself as a holistic, in a holistic way and as a mind, body, and spirit. That's when I started feeling healthier and happier and more joyful. So, trying to help people tap into that.
You're doing it.
So
you're doing it. I swear, everything on your feed, I know what I'm gonna get. I know what I'm gonna get. Like, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, man, this girl is like love, life, light, and I love that.
That's
So
sweet.
you
Thank
definitely
you.
have a brand identity.
Aw.
So like that business thing you're talking about, you're so gracious about it, but you definitely have it down pat. What's next for Simply Passionate? Or I know you can't divulge everything.
Tell me what's next. No, I'm just joking. Lord.
Yeah, we would love to see you on a tour of some sort, your own tour, Simply Passionate Life. Tell us how to, be the light and love and just fancy.
Girl. That's so funny. What's next? So, like I said, writing. I mean, you got to get it down on paper. I have a very high expectation for writing, and I have
books.
Yeah, and I'm like, when I read a book, I'm like very strict on, is this book good? And so that's kind of holding me back. Because I'm like, my standard is high. What if my book is not meet my standard? So I just gotta get it out. And books don't go away. Instagram, nobody's going 3 years back, but you write a book, they buy it, they have it. There's nothing that you can do to get it back. You can't delete it. So writing books, yes, absolutely. The touring, TV, all those types of things. I would love to be able to reach as many people for God's glory and for their fulfillment, to help people find more fulfillment. But first, I gotta raise these 2 girls. So the whole traveling thing, I definitely want to do more, especially to speak. I would love to be able to do it once they're a little bit older, where they can come with me and enjoy and all that. So
That's right.
right now, just speaking and writing. And so that's what I have to really, where I'm learning to take that step back and say, what am I doing?
It's a pivot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm just like Precious.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking and writing. Speaking
Nice.
and writing.
And stick with those two things. So we're gonna do the I am exercise before
Yeah,
we
let's do it.
close out. So I'll start with you.
All right. So remember, it's I am,
Mm-hmm.
I have, I will, I need. I need,
am.
I will. So it's
Okay,
I
you're gonna have to
am.
remind me of that.
We'll do start with I
Okay.
am. So it changes every day for me.
Okay.
It's whatever I really feel like I need to remind myself of that day. So like today, I think I'll just do it just from this moment. I won't even think about what I said this morning, but I'll just say I am fulfilled. I am super happy to be sitting here, and I am loved by God.
Nice. I am smart. I am fearless, and I am love.
Yes, yes, yes. And so then we go into I have. So I have a great network of people around me. I have a husband that is at home with my girls holding it down. And I have a voice to speak, a voice to speak to people.
I have an imagination and a vision.
Awesome. And then I need
Oof.
a little bit of courage. I need courage to keep writing. I need to be gracious with myself as I learn, my girl, and I learn who she is and how she need, what she needs. And I'll just keep it those two needs.
I need a team. I need a fan base that is loyal and relentless in the vision.
Awesome. And lastly, I will. So I will push past what I see. So I'll push past the results that come, the immediate results. And I will keep my girl in mind. She's watching. And it might not be a million of her, but she's watching. So I need to keep her in mind.
I will be on stage. I will meet Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter, Sean Carter, Blue Ivy, Rumi Answer. I'll meet the whole tribe. And I will help women break free.
Awesome.
Yeah.
See?
That
So-
was dope, man.
Yes.
Like, on-air manifestation, affirmation. Yes.
So every day I do that, and I keep it I tell my clients all the time, we kind of keep it as simple as possible, as as tangible as possible each
Right,
day. Something
right.
that could tangibly do,
Right.
tangibly be.
Wow. So tell us where we can find you one more time before we head out of here.
You can find me on www.SimplyPassionateLife.com, Simply Passionate Life on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and then Simply Prush KW on Twitter. I love you guys. If you need a speaker, or host, a
Holla at
moderator,
my girl.
holla at
Yes,
me, 'cause
yes.
that's where I'll be.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. Precious K. Williams in the building. We are out. Rebel Conversation.
Yay!